Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru, and welcome to episode 12 of Re-Unboxing. For those of you who haven't been following this series, or might have just found this video randomly, in this series I am re-unboxing all my gaming stuff after a big move, trying to set up the new game room here. As you can see, it's kind of chaos behind me, and the shelves there are pretty much empty other than the boxes and stuff up top. So I'm going through and unboxing all my stuff. So A, I can put it away. B, I'm recording for insurance purposes. And also I thought it would be cool to show everybody what all my stuff was and kind of establish a baseline. So this box I'm doing right now is a rather large box, but it is filled with mostly game boxes. A lot of empty ones, or a handful that have stuff in them, but let's get started. There's also a few other things, such as Amiibo. I only have a few Amiibo because I told myself I wasn't going to get sucked into that, but I fell in love with Breath of the Wild, so I had to have the Breath of the Wild Amiibo. So this is, of course, the Guardian, and it's just a fantastic looking Amiibo. The Guardians, of course, are really scary, crazy enemies in the game, and so very cool to have that to put on the shelf. Here is the Archer Link Amiibo. Pretty sweet. And of course, in the game, I'm pretty much a bow and arrow guy. I do melee combat when I have to, but most of the time I am into using the bow and arrow. Here we have Princess Zelda, and it's hard to tell there, but she is holding the Sheikah Slate that's in the game, and that you see in at least one or two of the cutscenes. And really cool design and nice quality on that. And then we have the Rider Link, Link Horseback. And no, it's not Epona. Technically, Epona isn't in the game, although you can name your horse Epona if you really want to when you catch one. I decided not to unbox these so that they would retain their value. And I have one last Amiibo to show off, and that is Bayonetta, specifically Bayonetta 2 style Bayonetta, which I prefer to the original. I actually like the shorter hair look and the outfit from the second game a little bit better, because it's, I don't know, it's just cool. I like the look. And I'm excited about Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming to the Switch, because even though I bought and played through them both on the Wii U, I will play through them both again on the Switch because they're just that good. Alright, so here we have Amiibo Festival for Wii U. That one I'm probably going to leave boxed. Let's see, let's go through some Game Boy stuff here. Here's Tom and Jerry for the Game Boy Color. Here is Teen Titans for Game Boy Advance. This is a sealed copy of Dynasty Warriors Advance. I still have. Castlevania Double Pack, which unfortunately has that label over the top. I'll have to figure out a way to steam that off at some point. Really clean copy of Klonoa Empire of Dreams. Got World Championship Poker for the Game Boy Advance. Drill Dozer on the Game Boy Advance, which is a great game, and I bought this one as a new release, but sort of a clearance deal. It was sealed when I bought it. This is still 100% complete, so it contains all of the extra paperwork in addition to the manual and the little cartridge tray. Here's my sealed copy of VIP, starring Pamela Anderson as Valley Irons. It is still sealed, as you can see. I won this on Twitter. I want to say from Colonel Falcon. He was doing a giveaway, and I won it. And anyway, many thanks for that beautiful garbage. This is my copy of Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color. I bought this as a new release when I got my GBC. Still have that complete. In addition to that, I also bought this Frogger for the Game Boy Color. So that's still complete. As is my reissue version of Super Mario Land 2, or maybe that's not a reissue version. Anyway, Super Mario Land 2, I bought that when I got my GBC, along with the Smurfs Nightmare for Game Boy Color. And I also got R-Type DX, really good conversion of sort of a mashup of R-Type 1 and 2 with some new content. And this somewhat underrated and little known shooter, Project S11. European style shooter with, so it has a life bar and really cool C64 type music with a lot of trilling and cool effects. Great graphics, and kind of difficult, but solid. I also recently picked up the box for Wario Blast featuring Bomberman. So just need a manual for this one to complete that. And the crowning achievement of my Game Boy collection is King James Bible by Wisdom Tree. This does have a manual with it, and the cartridge is different. I'm going to do a separate Game Boy Oddities video on this at some point, but this was a gift from fellow RF Generation member Slacker. So many thanks to him for hooking me up with that. Absolutely awesome collection piece to have. Alright, now we will move on to my lone boxed Super Nintendo game, which is Magic Sword, and this is actually complete. The manual's inside, and one of those, I don't want to say guilty pleasure because I don't have guilty pleasures, but it's kind of a mindless action game, but I really like it. And so this one I've had for a number of years, and always fun to pull out and play from time to time. Here's a copy of Diablo 3 on PC that I've had for a while. Let's see here. This, it's difficult to tell because of the shipping label, unfortunately. But this is the last physical PSP game that was released in the United States, and it is for Summon Night 5, and it comes with the soundtrack CD, the game of course, and then and then there's the box has kind of this cool art insert that everything sits on. But fantastic packaging and setup. Of course, Gaijin Works put this out, and in the United States, so you can see Summon Night 5. Gaijin Works, of course, is headed up by Victor Ireland, who ran Working Designs. So his love of classic JRPG stuff continues to shine through. Alright, here is another copy of Diablo 3 for PC that I found at Goodwill, I think. It's like $5, so I picked it up. Let's see here. Here is the box for Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch, and this does come with a bonus collectible keychain, and that is in the box still. The actual game is in a different box. Got a few boxed Game Gear games here. Here is Donald Duck in Deep Duck Trouble. And that is complete. Disney's Aladdin, and as you can see, it is still sealed in the plastic. Here is Disney's The Jungle Book, and that is complete. Here is Caesar's Palace, again complete, manuals inside. And this is Sonic Spinball, once again complete. And then also, I can get it out here, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Game Gear in the plastic. So obviously complete. Oh yeah, a couple of random PSP items here. There were a handful of items like this that were put out in these little sleeves where it's literally just the UMD in a cardboard sleeve. So this is Lords of Dogtown, the film, so that's the UMD. And then this is ATV Off-Road Fury Blazing Trails Greatest Hits. And so again, it's literally just the UMD in this little slip cover. So kind of an interesting thing that they did. Here's my one complete in box ColecoVision game, and that is Zaxxon. Good stuff. Always enjoyed Zaxxon. I remember the first time I played it was at a neighbor kid's house on his Commodore 64. Here's my Game Boy Player startup disc that I got with my GB player when I bought it. Gosh, 14, 15 years ago, whatever it was, when that first came out. And so that is that, and it is complete. I do not have the box, the actual large box for the Game Boy Player. But, yeah. Here we go. My Game Boy Color. This is my original box from when I bought my Game Boy Color. And as you can see on the back, advertising for Link's Awakening DX and Wario Land 2, I want to say. But yeah, it's the Atomic Purple, and I still have it. I think I showed it off in a previous video, actually my first video when I did my Game Boy stuff. So this box will be going up there on the shelves, maybe on top of the Sega Genesis box. Alright, so here is a boxed copy of Demon Attack for the 2600. Again, one of my favorite 2600 games growing up. Just love the cool warp effect and sound effects and the graphics in that game, and just a fun game. Another one of my childhood favorites that I happened upon, this is a relatively decent copy of Chopper Command by Activision. Had a ton of fun with this one. My next door neighbor had it, and we played it to death. This is one that I don't remember playing as a kid. This is Sequest by Activision for the 2600, and looks like it could be good though, so I'll definitely give that one a try. And of course, no 2600 collection is complete without Pitfall, and I was very pleased to get this complete copy a few months ago, I guess it was, at this point. Let's see here, got some more boxed Atari stuff. Here is a sealed copy of Dig Dug for the 2600. Whoa! While I drop it, here is my not for resale box copy of Pac-Man that came with my 2600, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this has the manual with it, so this one's complete. And this was the pack-in, despite the fact that the system or that this game got kind of maligned, it still sold really well, and so this was the pack-in for my my later 2600. I think I got the Darth Vader, I want to say. Technically, this also came with my my 2600 because got it from a garage sale, and so there were a handful of games with it. This one also has the manual. So Miss Pac-Man, much better game than the original Pac-Man for the 2600. This is more faithful to the arcade, and it plays better overall. This is the other game that I got as a package deal with the 2600. That is Berserk. I don't think... No, I guess this one does have the manual as well. The box isn't in super good shape. The top is a little bit torn in a couple of places, and of course there's that tear in the corner, but great game. Played that one a lot as a kid. And this was a recent pickup, and that is Gravatar. This is one of the later releases. This one was the 1988 repackaging of the game. Never played Gravatar. I don't think my next door neighbor had it when we were kids. Let's see. This is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, Sochi 2014. And as I mentioned in my in one of the previous videos, the that blue Wiimote that I showed off was in this box along with the actual Wii U game. So that was a gift. It was a Christmas gift, actually. Came with my Wii U. Here we've got Arcade Classics, Centipede and Missile Command, complete Sega Genesis game. Double check, yeah, this one's complete. Let's see here. This one does not have the manual, but I think I bought it because I should be able to source the manual pretty easy. And that is Animaniacs for the Sega Genesis. So I'll be looking on the lookout for the manual for that. Here is Earthworm Jim 2. This one is complete. I made sure before I bought it because for the price they were asking, I wanted to make sure it had everything. And here is Turrican for the Sega Genesis. This one does not have the manual. It also, there was apparently an offer where you could get a large poster of the Boris Vallejo art. It doesn't have that either, but I'll be looking for the manual at the very least. This is SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team. Despite the name, however, this game is not crap. It's excellent. It is, I would say, one of the better shoot 'em ups on the NES, and definitely a game worth owning. I still need the manual for this, but I've got the game and the box, so that's on my list. I showed this off in a previous video. That is Color Dreams Metal Fighter. I picked this up box and cart a number of years ago, dirt cheap, and despite the condition of the back of the box there, very cool to have a Color Dreams game in box, so I'll be looking for that manual as well. Here is Mylan's Secret Castle, and this is a more recent pickup. This is complete. Here's my box copy of Cabal. No manual, so I'll be looking for that, but cool to have nonetheless. Remember playing that as a kid. My copy of RoboCop is complete. Let's see, one of my friends in school, his neighbor across the street had this, and we used to play it. It's kind of fun. Kickle Cubicle. Again, I picked this up dirt cheap back when NES games were dirt cheap, and I didn't have the manual at first. It was just the box and the cart, but I picked up the manual sometime last year. I want to say last spring, and so now this is complete. A Styanax for the NES. This is a decent game. It's a fairly decent action hack and slash game. This is complete and it's in a pretty good shape actually. So one of my better boxed games. I also have Cybernoid, the fighting machine. This conversion of what was previously, I think, an Atari ST and possibly C64 game is actually kind of terrible. It's super difficult. There's no, let's see, it's either one hit death or there's no, no grace period when you get hit. So if you get hit and you continue to touch an enemy, instead of getting knocked back and being invincible for 2 or 3 seconds, it just drains your life and you die. I did manage to beat this game at one point a few years ago, but it's not one that I would want to pull out again unless I was feeling particularly in need of a challenge. But this one's complete and again in fairly good shape. Here is my lone TurboGrafx CD game, and that is Valis 2 or Valis 2. Not sure how you pronounce it. But this is complete. I've got this cardboard long box here, and then the disc and full jewel case inside. It's actually a good game. Only way I've ever been able to play this is via an emulator, and then putting the disc in the PC, so it'll read it from that. Because I don't have a Turbo CD, because they are prohibitively expensive. At some point I'm hoping to acquire either a Turbo Duo, a Turbo CD, or possibly like a PC Engine Duo, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the CD players in those are region free. So if I could use like an EverDrive style card, game card, to load up the correct CD BIOS deal, I could probably still play this. But good game. And then I've got a handful of sleeve games here. So we've got Greatest Hits, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, Game of the Year Edition. We've got God of War Ascension, God of War 3 as part of the God of War collection, and the other part of that is God of War 1 and 2, the PS3 remasters. Now I actually have a standard release of the God of War collection that has the flip tray in it, but kind of cool to find these. I found this whole stack of sleeve-based games at a pawn shop and picked those up. So that is all I have in this box of boxes, mostly game boxes and some Amiibo. What do you guys think? Anything in here that you really like? Anything that you're jealous of, or you know, do any of you have any of the manuals I'm looking for and could maybe hook me up, or know where online to look for them? You know, I kind of try to keep track on things like Lukey Games and places like that. Occasionally eBay to see if I can find manuals for box games that I don't have the manuals for, that kind of a thing. Or occasionally if I've got a game that has that I have the game and the manual but no box. Sometimes I'll look for the box and see if I can find something that's not prohibitively expensive. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GameBoyGuru. I'll have a link below in the description to my blog where you can check out all my reviews. That's GameBoyGuru.blogspot.com. And also make sure you check out Nira and his channel. He provided the Super Mario Land overworld theme that I use as the intro music for all my videos, and he's got a ton of other great chiptune and game music covers, so make sure you check those out as well. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for playing, and game on!